Hi everybody and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine, sponsored by Betway. Big weekend last weekend, big weekend coming up. I hate to say I got it right, but I did. Drop the
Oops,
mic.
he did.
I'm going to take a half-time Scotland, full-time South Africa for 500. Great win for the Boks. Scotland were never in it to me. And even though the refereeing never came into it, Mark, there was still some shocking decisions in the first half. It's just that the game, the Boks dominated so much that we never had to refer to it. Wasn't that close?
Well, I think we spoke last week, Kev, the Boks would have to win. I would have to play very well to win comfortably and take him out the equation, which they did in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But in that first half, Boks were dominant. Poor decision making, as we said all along, has been their downfall in the last 12 months. But any chance he could get to put Scotland back in the game, he did.
Yeah.
And when a referee constantly is explaining his decision to a player, and the big screen is showing that he got it wrong in that moment, he did himself no favours, reaffirmed what we said.
No,
but
especially he went into such articulation to explain his decision, which just weren't correct.
And also would counter where he knows they were coming with and said, I would have penalised, but I couldn't because your bloke was doing that first.
Yeah.
And they said, what about that bloke? Mate, I will speak to him. So it was so obvious how he was keeping them in the game. But that second half, fantastic from the Boks.
Yeah.
Intelligent, simple, effective rugby, and with a lot of pizzazz. Our tries, I saw in the UK media, they grudgingly had to give us respect. However, they said it will be remembered for two of the greatest Scottish tries. I thought our tries weren't too bad either.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, look, I give up trying to make sense of what the British media say and do. But it was a great result for the Boks. But not arguably, the victory Ireland had over New Zealand was far more impressive. I mean, if it wasn't for a lack of finishing, that score could have been 45-20 to the Irish. They dominated so much in that game.
Well, I think also, Zals, we spoke about on the Friday, if that black jersey...
I also picked that one right as well.
Did you, Kim?
Yeah, I said that Ireland could box a win, but they certainly wouldn't lose by 10.5 more points.
Yeah, I thought that was a very generous...
it was an easy bet.
Yeah, given how the All Blacks had finished the Rugby Championship.
No.
But again, there was a case of if that jersey wasn't black and it was a Tongan red or something...
Well, it was black and blue at the end of the game.
Yeah, they would have taken 50.
Yeah.
I mean, they were heroic in the way they defended, but you never felt Ireland believed they were actually dominating as much as they could. And it would have been a travesty had that try been given, and it was inches away, the Ione brothers, from a try, and New Zealand escaped somehow with a 1-point win. I think they may have killed Irish rugby for another 100 years. So the right result.
And we were chatting off camera about even a great victory like that on a night of celebration, South Africa still dragged back into it. So?
Well, I mean, James Lowe couldn't help himself. Somehow he made one of these epic wins for Ireland, maybe the best one in Irish rugby history.
Yeah.
All about South Africa and how we play boring rugby, which I thought was quite surprising. No need to drag us into it, and an odd reaction to such a great moment.
It was a very interesting comment.
He's a Kiwi, isn't he?
So
maybe he wishes he was a Safa.
I mean, like Mark said...
Well, I can tell you now the one thing he didn't wish,
Yeah.
ever, if you read his quotes and listen to them, was being an Irishman. Because his comment was, I grew up in New Zealand, always wanting to be an All Black. That was my dream. He played for the Maori All Blacks. I wasn't good enough at my best to play for the All Blacks, so I gave up that dream. To come here tonight and score against them is something I could never have dreamed of in a million years. And the great thing about the way we play, it's not like South Africa.
No.
They play negative rugby, that's why they beat the All Blacks. We
Well, I
beat
would
them with
imagine.
great rugby.
I would imagine for a Kiwi rugby player, it would be a nightmare to be living in New Zealand, dreaming that you're playing against the All Blacks.
Yeah, sure.
But if I was Irish people sitting there thinking,
Not
the
even-
only people you're not talking about is us,
No, don't even
the
make the
green
top
jersey
two.
that you're wearing
Exactly.
tonight. So,
Bizarre.
yeah.
But that's what these European countries get when they import foreigners into their national sides.
That 3-year project play. He will play for another 2 years to the World Cup, and he'll be back in the Waikato in 2024, living on a farm somewhere.
Yeah.
With every other Kiwi that's played for France, or for England, or for Scotland, they're all back in New Zealand. I dare say most of the South Africans who played for Ireland are back here as well.
Correct. I mean, you could potentially maybe qualify to play for one of the Pacific Islands too. Who knows?
Okay.
Exactly, because home is where the heart is.
Correct.
Okay, so we've got a passionate rugby public here and a passionate betting public. Some 3 interesting games this week. Let's start with the Boks versus England. Eddie Jones is turning this into a World Cup, which it clearly isn't. You don't get a World Cup trophy at the end of this game. you've got so many subplots, Rassie versus Eddie Jones. You've got Matthew Proudfoot, who said he's learnt more in a week under Eddie than he'd ever learnt in South Africa. That was a bit of a dickhead comment.
It was a dickhead comment, but I think, as Zal said, maybe because he was allowed to say hello in the English setup. My understanding is he didn't do a hell of a lot of coaching for the Boks. I mean, Rassie was in charge of those sports.
Sideline quite a lot there.
Yeah. So, but I thought it was just, you won a World Cup with the Springboks. You get a job offer to go to England. Say, I'm trying a new challenge. And
Rugby fraternity used to be a class act. It used to be full of doctors and lawyers, and it used to be the gentleman's game. It seems to be a class actless game.
Actless.
Yeah. I mean, what's up with that?
I mean, I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest. I am surprised that Eddie is talking this game up as much as he is, because England are not at their strongest. He's in a rebuilding phase by his own admission, and the Boks are charging, world champions, potentially unbeaten on this tour, beaten the All Blacks, beaten the British and Irish Lions. And for all the Springboks wrinkles and issues, they're a hot team. So to kind of be talking this up like England really has a great chance of toppling South Africa is surprising to me.
Well, I mean, if you know Eddie's thinking as you do, I mean, you're in contact with him a lot, is they Boks a win.
Are you in contact with Eddie?
I mean, we swap a few emails here and there.
Jesus.
A few WhatsApps.
What a kiss ass you are. Sorry, folks.
It's a
I
great
would
bloke.
have
Great
never
bloke.
had him on the show otherwise, but
They Boks the win, and Eddie's like, what a great win, we just beat the world champions. They lose, and he says, who else has beaten these world champions? So he's put himself in exactly, and an informal Australia, not the one that's on tour at the moment. So yeah, I think the nice thing about that last 20 against Scotland, I do believe it gives us momentum going into this game. We finally look like that side was, in terms of our pack and the cohesion and the confidence that we were playing with. We hadn't played for 3 weeks by the time we got to the Welsh game, and we got out of jail there. And it was a good win. It was a team that we hadn't beaten for a long time. Scotland, always a healthy win, but our boys are fired up for this game as much as England are. Make no mistake. And what I do like is we still have the core of that World Cup pack, and that bomb squad is back again. And England, you negate their pack.
and they're missing a couple of key players as well.
Key players.
The bookies have the betting has gone from England, same thing. England being favourites to now South Africa being firm favourites at 1.85. 3 days ago it was Australia, England, same thing. England 1.9. So the money's coming in, and I imagine it's a reaction to Farrell being out.
Correct, and Jamie George.
And Jamie George being out.
And again, Farrell, he gets such bad press at the moment because of this love affair with Marcus Smith. The guy's played 100 test matches. He has got such respect from the opposition. And he's a hard bastard. He plays against South Africa, we know he's played against us, and he brings a hardened mentality. And if we can get into Marcus Smith early, it's not Harlequins playing in the Premiership. Then you are playing a Springbok pack who are chasing you all day. Everyone raved about Finn Russell. That was probably the worst game I've seen him play for a long time. Because he got hit hard in the tackle. There was rush defence was on him the whole time, and those cross kicks didn't come off, and the fancy passes weren't coming off, and he just disappeared in the last 20 minutes of that game. So Farrell huge, Kev, and Jamie George. I was surprised he was initially left out, but another guy who's just been there, done it, and kind of commands respect from our guys.
Yeah,
So how do we? Sorry.
No.
So how do we see this game playing out? Because are we going to be up against 16 men again? I know people have a go at us on our site, and that's fine. I mean, I love being called a dickhead and all that stuff. I don't mind the comments. Do we have anything to be concerned about the refereeing this weekend, Mo?
Well, off air, I said to Zels, brace yourself for another shocker, potentially. The guy's name is Andrew Brace, and he's played for Belgium, which was the red flag for me. Born in Cardiff, lived in Ireland for the last 10 years, refereed in one of his first big games 2 years ago, the autumn or the Nations Cup final at Twickenham between England and France. 19-9 with 5 minutes to go to France, 19-all, 22-19 in extra time, and England wins it. His decision making was so poor and so blatantly biased in what he missed for France and gave to England that the outrage on social media, the hatred and the threats were so bad that he was withdrawn from refereeing any games in France for a year.
Yeah.
He's been given the whistle for this match on Saturday. How they make these appointments, who knows? So again, we're going to have to be.
Well, it's
good
certainly the
to
biggest test of the autumn. So you're right. I mean, how does someone that's got that checkered past in refereeing. I don't know anything about his personal life.
Maybe it's the whole passive-aggressive thing from World Rugby. Snub the Boks for the awards, appoint this ref for the biggest game of the year into. I don't know.
I just think it's going to be, as you say, Kev, it's not the World Cup final. You can't get that back, but it is revisited. They haven't played since that 80,000 at Twickenham. The intensity, it's two of the heaviest packs that go up against each other. Get a referee in there that actually knows what they're doing, that can't be accused of bias, or can't be accused of being out of his depth. And they bring a novice in whose biggest game was the Nations Cup final, and he was withdrawn from any game in France because of getting it so badly wrong.
Yeah. Fast fact.
Brace yourselves, guys. We're going to have to play well again to win, and that's been the...
Look, if there's no conspiracy, we will find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in all fairness, the referee shouldn't be in a position to control this game because the Boks, in my mind, are clear favourites to win. We've got this pack that is dominated. I mean, unless the referee comes in at scrum time and starts rewarding the team that isn't controlling that contest, I don't see how you can stop South Africa. If we get what we've been getting from our scrum, we have field position, we have possession, we've got total control of the game.
And an incredible thing there as well, and that's where you just got to keep on going back to saying, wow, what these Springboks have been through. They didn't play Tonga's Club 15, 2 tests against Fiji, and then get into a Bledisloe Cup game, and then into the Rugby Championships and play their first 7 test matches at home. They played the best of 4 nations that combined to be the British and Irish Lions in the most intense physical series. Went straight into 2 against
Mental
Argentina.
series as well, if you consider the bio bubble.
The bio bubble, no crowds. Then flew overseas for 8 weeks, played in a rugby championship, ended it with a heartbreaking defeat against New Zealand and a win against New Zealand, came back, went to France, beat a Welsh team where they hadn't won since 2013, went and hammered Scotland. No one's talking about fatigue with the Boks, but all you're hearing from everyone else is, understandably, the All Blacks are finished, that they mentally drained, they physically drained. What has this team not gone through? And this was a team that hadn't played Test rugby for 20 months.
And we lost the World Player of the Year from 2019. We're playing a guy's 95, 100 Ks at blindside flank.
We lost the best winner in the world.
Correct.
We lost our tight head prop in the world. We lost our best scrum half. So I think people need to also understand and give that due to the Boks setup and the players and say, my God, just to be them, be the favourites going into Saturday's game.
Yeah.
Just shows why they are worthy world champions.
Yeah.
And kind of what they've achieved since winning that World Cup in 2019.
Okay. So who's winning? First of all, weather conditions perfect for Saturday. 10 degrees, sunny, overcast, no rain.
I mean,
I've got the Boks by 10.
easily, yeah. I'll take that.
But what's easily? Is that 20 or is that...
No, I'll take 10. 10 is easy. I'll take 10, 12 points the Boks.
Yeah, I haven't seen the starting 15 for the Boks, so that's always. I imagine they'll do something similar to they did against Scotland with a strong bench coming.
Well, they've just gone with Pollard at 10.
Changes. Who was Reineke to start at 9?
9 Reineke starts. Both Yankees go to the bench, and both they changed at halfback, and they've
Lewis at 5.
and Lewis is swapped with Franco Marston, which I think all round those are for England. Those are good changes, and pretty much the same 23.
Look,
England still to announce it. I think Eddie may wait till Saturday morning.
well, South Africa should win by at least 7. But depending on the referee, ideal conditions. At 1.83, South Africa a good bet. I'm going to put some money down on that. So for every 1,000 I put down, I'll win back 830 plus my 1,000. So I'm going to probably put down a couple grand on that. And cheer on the Boks. And we've got an event out at Century City Convention Center. Should be fun.
Yeah, at the conference center, we've got it's a VIP. He's been invited as the editor of SARugbymag. So
I'll see you there.
bench up there. It's going to be wonderful. We did a gig there when the All Blacks played against the Springboks. Dramatic finish, we won it. So we're hoping for the same result there. There'll be fish and chips, there'll be boerewors rolls, there'll be plenty of cheer. And then the great thing for us that night as well is we're going through. We're kicking on with all the other games.
And this event's an invitation only, so I've got 10 tickets to give away. Send me a message on Facebook. Tell me why you should be one of the 10 that wants to come, and I'll announce.
And come and have an afternoon with the money man.
Yeah, I'll announce the winners, and it's a good piss up. I mean, the last time we beat New Zealand, I was well oiled.
Good to know.
Good to know. But I was behaved for the most part.
Always.